Hey folks, I'm Papa Boris, and this is a bittersweet moment for me because I am reviewing my last ever game from the 2025 Through the Ages World Championship. It's been a hell of a run, but alas, Stage 4, I am getting knocked out. This one was purely for pride. We were up against the ELO baby of the group, David, and as the first player, I took Boudica here. It is a tough choice. If I take Engineering Genius A, I am guaranteed a wonder. Either the Pyramids falls to me or David takes it, and then Acropolis falls to the one action spot. So that is a very tempting line. What I was not pleased about with that line is that if you look at the leaders in this game, they suck. I mean, there's just none of like the really good leaders are here, unfortunately. So since the board is kind of devoid of leaders, and what leaders are coming out are not that exciting, and Ashoka is one I just basically never want to play with, I thought, let's just take Boudica, call it a day. At least, there isn't like a Sun Tzu or a Caesar out here to shut her off immediately. She's the best leader in the group by far, and let's just let David have the Engineering Genius, which he takes, as well as the Urban Growth. And then it's over to me. So, I mean, I'm not displeased about this. We both get a pretty decent start. I get Boudica and the Pyramids, good wonder, good leader. And my opponent gets Engineering Genius A and the Acropolis. He is missing a leader, but he does have 3 rocks in the form of yellow cards in exchange for a leader, and I think it's a perfectly fair trade. So I was curious if he was going to take Ashoka here. He grabs Acropolis, gets Worker, builds mine, and uses Engineering Genius A to build the first stage. So he does not take Ashoka, so he could take Sun Tzu, which would be very annoying, because then that would shut Boudica off. And we have actually a pretty spicy deck. First card out, Code of Law, second Iron, so really strong stuff coming out immediately. I chuck an event in there, we get Development of Politics, I get more colonies. And I grab the Iron. I figure that with Boudica, I believe I took Science with her, I can get Science again next turn, and then research the Iron, and then just start upgrading my mines. And I decide to take a bit of a weird line here. I actually build the first stage of the Pyramids and grab this Frugality to avoid going into consumption. This is actually not bad because it's worth 2 food. 1 food for itself, and then 1 food for not opening consumption. And I think 2 food for 1 action is completely fine here, especially in the second turn Doldrums. Now, I think I made a mistake. I should have just built my second lab, because that guarantees that I can get the Iron next turn. If my opponent does choose Sun Tzu, it shuts Boudica off, and I'm at 4 Science. And it's reasonable to do the whole thing of like, well, let's call Boudica my second lab and just rush the Pyramids, get that extra action sooner. It just doesn't work here. And so I think for that reason, I messed up this opening. Keep the vast territory because Christopher Columbus is in the game, just like I did in my game against one of the other 2 players. I can't remember which. So I could do it again here. So I decided to keep that just in case. And then I pass the turn. So my opponent plays an event. It's the planning event, and our options here are free temple, free warrior, or 2 food. And of course, we're both going to take the free temple. If I had built my second lab, actually, I would not have been able to get the free temple, though I still would have gotten the consolation prize of even more food. But in any case, he gets the free temple, raises population, finishes the Acropolis, and takes Sun Tzu and plays him. So Boudica is shut off. And actually, even if it wasn't for Sun Tzu, the Acropolis gives a strength which also would have shut Boudica off. Now, you know me, I'm always going to complain about people rushing the Acropolis. I still think that he should have built a second lab here. Because he had Sun Tzu to turn off Boudica anyway, he's just throwing away a Science for absolutely nothing as far as I'm concerned. But hey, that's all the rage these days. All the cool kids are doing it. Frickin' Gen Z, wasting their Science, not building their second lab, rushing the Acropolis. What's up with kids these days? Back in my... Anyway, it's just what everyone seems to do no matter what their elo. In any case, Boudica is shut off. I cannot research Iron, and he gets down the Legion, which I cannot copy until Sun Tzu leaves. And it's back over to me. So I chuck my other event in here, the do deposits, and I luck out. The Science pops out, so I'm able to research Iron anyway. But I wasn't planning on doing that here. I finished the Pyramids. I raised my population twice just to pass the actions. And then after using Boudica's free rocks to make a warrior, I research Iron. Now, I don't know what I was on about with this, because with Sun Tzu and the Acropolis, Boudica is still shut off. There's no swordsman here. I don't have the Science for it anyways. I don't know why I did that. I probably should have not built the Pyramids and just built my second lab. But I guess I was thinking that an extra action is worth a Science, because that was the equation at that point. But it's hard to say. I mean, there's like an alchemy here. If David doesn't take it, I don't have the science to research it. I guess with an extra lab, I wouldn't have the science anyways. But, oh yeah, I spent 5 science doing the iron. I don't know. My opening is a mess on this one. I just decided, I suppose, hey, let's just get the iron down, start upgrading my mines, and then worry about the science later. So he plays an event. We get free rocks. And then he takes Joan of Arc for 2 actions, which is pretty aggressive. He might have been able to wait and get her. Maybe he thought that since I also had a free temple that I would take Joan. I didn't want to because I have Christopher Columbus with the vast territory, but of course there's no way for my opponent to know that. So I was pretty happy to have him not waste. I think it's a reasonable move from his perspective, but I was happy for him to take an extra turn to get Joan. He gets his second lab up, and then he grabs Engineering Genius. And notice that with the Acropolis, what's the card you're most hoping for in the early game? Monarchy. And he could have researched it here. So I'm actually not sure why he didn't do it. I think personally in his shoes, I would have risked Joan disappearing. It's not like Joan is that crazy or something. And I would have just grabbed and researched Monarchy here for those actions. Well, I'm pretty happy because Christopher Columbus is still here and Alchemy is still here. So I build a warrior using Boudica's resources. I'm still not building my next lab. I take Christopher Columbus. I take the Alchemy. I take Breakthrough because I need the science. Then I start upgrading my mines and grab Masonry. I honestly don't know what the hell I'm doing here. I don't have enough science to research Alchemy next turn unless my opponent lets me stay even with him and get a science from Boudica, but that is, of course, a pretty weird thing to gamble on. So not really sure why I did this. I probably should have just built my second lab instead of starting to upgrade my mines, though then, of course, that means that researching the iron was a mistake. So really just a mess of an opening here from me. My opponent plays an event, and while he is beating me on tie breaks, he gets the uncertain borders, which is not what I wanted to see in my final game of the tournament. That is a hard, hard blow. He then plays Joan, so he's still getting a strength because now the built-in strength from Sun Tzu is replaced by the strength from Joan for 1 temple. And he puts the Taj Mahal under construction, raises population, makes another warrior so Boudica is still turned off, grabs patriotism, builds a stage, and another stage with Engineering Genius 1. I'm not a huge fan of this line. I don't think anyone likes this wonder. It just gives culture, and it's spending a lot of rocks. When he's only on 3 rock production, I pretty much only ever do this if I've already got iron mines up and running. So I'm not a fan of this line, but it does mean he's going to have a big culture lead, and it's going to be up to me to prove that the economic investments I'm making are worth the culture that he's now going to get to run away with. He also doesn't take any knights. So on my turn, I upgrade a mine, disband a warrior. It was sort of free. I mean, it just cost me a draw. And then I build my other lab. So just an absolute mess of an opening here. I break through the masonry, and next turn I will have just enough to research alchemy and get 2 cheap alchemy upgrades. And then I grab a rich land for 2 actions. This stuff was all kind of underwhelming. I could have taken irrigation and knights, but I don't have very much science. I already have alchemy and iron, so I don't want irrigation. Weidenbaum, in one of his videos, actually articulated a really simple idea, which is that you don't want all 3 of the main upgrades in age 1. You want like 2 of the 3 or 1 of the 3, so that you have something left that you can upgrade the age 2 version of in age 2. You're like purposefully leaving yourself a path to getting a superior upgrade. And I like that thinking, so since I have iron and alchemy, I don't want the irrigation. Even though in a 2-player game, there's only 1 copy of selective breeding, so it's a little bit of a risky line to play. But in any case, I chose to spend 2 actions for 2 rocks, make it possible next turn to research alchemy, upgrade both labs, and also upgrade my last mine. So I'm really just focusing on economy, allowing my opponent to run away with the culture. So David plays an event. It's new deposits that I put in, and it was unlucky. I lost that tiebreak on the uncertain borders, but then again, I didn't have an event to play, so I wasn't ever going to win the tiebreak. He was going to win that no matter what, so at least it's lucky that this happened a turn later, where I got 2 extra rocks out of it. Now, he gets use out of his rocks as well. He finishes Taj Mahal, grabs the Theocracy, which does give him 2 extra strength with Joan of Arc, and he also takes Urban Growth. And so now he's getting 7 culture per turn to my 1, and also threatening me on strength. Now, I take the swordsman. I have to change my turn plan because I don't want to be 4 strength behind when I'm only at 2 military actions. I take and research swordsman, so I'm not getting the alchemy down, which of course is not what I wanted to do. But this way, I can raise population, build a swordsman using Boudica's rocks. I'm a champion this game of using the 2 rocks from Boudica. And then after playing Christopher Columbus, I grab the cultural heritage, so next turn I can still theoretically play it, research alchemy, upgrade both labs, and play the rich land to upgrade my mine. It all happens just a little bit behind schedule. All right, we got an event here. It's the Foray, so David put a lot of good strength-based events in there for himself. Makes sense, he had Sun Tzu, so he drew through more of the deck. Takes the Irrigation, it'll be his only major upgrade in this age. Raises population, builds a warrior. Now he has that Sun Tzu-powered Legion for 3 extra strength. Researches Irrigation, and upgrades a farm. Start getting his food production going, while crushing me on culture and being way ahead on strength. So all in all, a pretty good age for David. If we take a quick look at the standings, I think David's position definitely favors mine. I have Iron Mines researched, and that's it. That's all I got done. I just have not done a good job playing the game. Like, I just did not play efficiently, and so I don't have anything except for a 5th civil action and my iron. I didn't get alchemy in time, didn't get any culture, did not do food. So I'm in pretty rough shape. I think his position definitely favors mine. I have a lot of problems that need to be solved. So I cash out Christopher Columbus. I do not wait because I'm just not doing a very good job drawing cards. So I just figured let's not go for a better colony. Let's take the vast territory 1. It stops my revolt issue here, and a good option now is better than the best option later. I spent both military actions to copy the Sun Tzu-powered Legion for 3 strength. So that was a nice thing I did. I suppose there's synergy there. I used Boudica's free rocks like 3 times to get these warriors built, and then once Sun Tzu leaves and I can copy his tactic, I'm actually safe. Because I have a defense card, so I only have 1 card, and he might go for an aggression, but it is a defense card, so I can just barely block him if needed. And then Forbidden City is here. So I delay my economy. I could have played Cultural Heritage, researched alchemy, upgraded both labs, and upgraded my mine. And maybe that was the right thing to do, because that is a hell of a lot of economic value. But instead, what I do this turn is I take the Forbidden City, and I, thanks to Masonry, just build it. I just get it done. And I'm still not able to do the alchemy, but at least after raising population to get out of corruption, I can play the rich land to upgrade my final mine. So now, next turn, I can research alchemy and upgrade both labs, and I am beating David on actions. He's only got 4 civil actions still. So I am beating him on actions. I have my rocks going, and I'll get my alchemy going lickety-split here just a second. And also the Forbidden City, in addition to the action, is helping me with Happy Faces, which will matter later. So it's not horrible here. I think I took advantage of an opportunistic grab, but it is debatable whether it wouldn't have been better just to, upgrade my science. So David does try for the age 1 aggression. He gets out my defense card. It doesn't cost him any draws. I think it's the right play to do. If you get it, then, you steal resources, and if you don't get it, you still made me spend a defense card. He takes the swordsman, takes the alchemy, researches the swordsman, and upgrades some swords. It's a pretty aggressive line. He could have researched alchemy instead of the swords and actually upgraded both labs. So let me just make sure I'm correct about this. Yeah, he takes swordsman, take alchemy. Oh, I beg your pardon. Take swordsman, take alchemy, research it, upgrade 1 lab. He could have upgraded 1 lab or not taken swordsman, but I think taking swordsman is correct because, as we all know, in H2, in the 2-player game, rifleman is the one technology there's only 1 copy of. So getting the swordsman makes sense. Of course, I have them, so I'm less likely to hate draft rifleman, so you could try to avoid the swordsman, but this applies immediate pressure on my position, and he thought that was worth delaying his science, which is reasonable. Last action, he upgrades the farm, and then he passes the turn. So on my turn, I didn't really want to do what I'm about to do here, but with this military pressure that I can't actually deal with very well, because I've already got my tactic just about maxed out, I decided to friggin' build the Himeji Castle. That was not on my bingo card for the day, but I think I just have to do it. Because this gets me out of dodge. Now I'm only 3 strength behind. I can sacrifice a warrior. That makes it less appealing for him to do aggressions. He might still do one just to make me sack a warrior, but then it is just, a military action and 2 rocks, so he might not want to do that. It might stop him from playing events, getting strength-based events that are in here. So I feel like that was worth it. But I would not have wanted to do this. I would have rather researched alchemy and build my labs. So I think this game, for some reason, I just decided to squeeze myself on science for absolutely no damn reason. Now, with my last actions, I play the cultural heritage, and I just researched the alchemy. So I decided to, I'm going to do it, guys! But, I don't know if that was correct or not. I could have, taken some yellow cards here. The rich land will help with selective breeding later, and the reserves is just good to have with 6 actions, just to have more resources, maybe get an extra worker out. So I'm not 100% sure that was the correct play, but I decided to just finally take some steps and get this done. And I wanted to see if he was going to do an aggression. He doesn't. He plays the event. He gets a good harvest out of it. He researches the alchemy, upgrades a lab, upgrades another lab, and just raises population to get out of corruption. Very simple, clean turn. And now it's back over to me. So on my turn, I grab Robespierre, play him and take the Republic. We get to have the ultimate dopamine hit of running the French Revolution. So now I got tons of actions. I got Republic, Forbidden City, and Pyramids. So 9 actions. I'm the action king. And thanks to the castle, I am only falling 4 culture behind every turn, which is not, 30 culture behind. Losing 4 a turn. It's not the end of the world. So I'm not horrible. And I think that was really nice that came my way. There's only 1 Robespierre, only 1 Republic in the deck, so I was pretty fortunate to have that come out this early. With the rest of my actions, what do I prioritize here? I think I gotta take the strategy here, though I don't know how the hell I'm ever gonna research it, because if you have Republic, you gotta shore up your military actions. And then I just build a new lab using my new urban limit, because I gotta get the science situation fixed up. I also take reserves and raise population to get out of corruption. Upgrading my other lab would not have gotten me out of corruption. It would have only spent 1 blue token, so I had to do this. Though maybe it would have been better to do that upgrade instead of taking the reserves. I did throw away a science in exchange for spending 2 actions to get either 3 rocks or 3 food. It's debatable whether that was correct. But in any case, I passed the turn. And now David raises population. He builds a 3rd lab himself using the extra urban building limit from Theocracy, takes the cannon, makes sense, and takes Watt because he's planning to get coal later. I got my iron mines upgraded, so of course I'm not going to be taking coal. And then he passes the turn. So now the good news for me is that there is a selective breeding here. I got to take it, obviously, and I research it and I upgrade a farmer. Now with 2 food plus 2 more, I have enough food to get my next worker, so principle of immediacy, I don't just blindly spend my 4 food or 4 rocks to upgrade the other farm. Instead, I take a moment to upgrade my other labs thanks to masonry. Now, I grab the revolutionary idea and a breakthrough because I desperately need more science. I mean, 6 is good, but I have a strategy to research. I'm going to have like cavalry and or cannons to research, maybe an air forces someday. Like my science needs are very high. And to that end, I could have considered getting Harvard College. If I had done a better job fixing my economy earlier, I would have loved to take Harvard College here and build it, but I needed to spend all my rocks fixing my economy, so that just, I don't think, was in the cards. And it was even with our engineering genius. I was very sad to let that go. We got a really good tactic here, the fortifications, so if I get cannon, the other copy of cannon, then I can do it. Since my opponent has taken the other cannon, he cannot hate draft it from me, so once it's there, I got a good tactic to work with, which I was very happy about. He plays an event. It's immigration. He's got the most happy faces by 1. So he manages to take that thanks to the Theocracy. Grabs Justice System, researches it, makes sense. I took the Republic. Who knows when Constitutional Monarchy is coming out or if you even want to replace a Theocracy with a Constitutional Monarchy. So just adding a little civil action here makes a lot of sense here. Grabs horses to stay flexible on the military, and of course a 1-action breakthrough is never bad. He's not corrupt or anything, so he saves up his rocks for the turn, and he passes. And I was very happy that he's not raising any more military pressure against me, because I'm not sure what I would have done if he had. So cannons lands in the bitch spot, so nice play by my opponent there. I have to spend 2 actions for it. I raise population, research cannon, and I build one. Now, I didn't necessarily have to do this. I could have spent 4 rocks to upgrade my other farm, because the 2 food would have actually mattered there. But I decided not to screw around. Let's just get these cannons built. I play Revolutionary Idea, upgrade my final warrior to a swordsman with my last rock, just so I'm beating David on tie breaks in case he's got good stuff in here still. And then I take the opera. It's an expensive grab, but I thought it was important to have a way to get culture. In this game, we do have Marlene and Ian. Sadly, no Chaplain, who's good with operas, but still 2 out of 3 ain't bad. And I got a way to maybe stem the bleeding in H3 with the culture. I am still falling behind 4 culture per turn, but this is not insurmountable with such a big action lead and a resource head start. So I can catch this up just in a peaceful way. And of course, I do have the strategy and a good tactic, so I can also apply pressure on multiple fronts. Stem the cultural bleeding with a single opera while also focusing the rest of my energies on my military. I'm just not 100% sure that it was worth going ahead of him on strength, speculatively in case there's a strength-based event in here, instead of upgrading my last farm and then getting another worker next turn. I grab efficient upgrade. Since I didn't upgrade the farm, I can make it cheaper. And I research strategy. Now, this is a bit inconsistent. If I'm going to build this cannon, then why am I making strategy? I don't have any aggressions or anything here. I don't have any wars. So why not, if I'm researching strategy, not do the cannon right now and instead upgrade my last farm? It's, I think a little bit of an imprecise turn. But in any case, I pass the turn and it goes over to David. I do have a war now, so I have some dreams of maybe pulling that off. He researches the cannons with breakthrough, plays his patriotism, gets a cannon, and he has the defensive army, which for me is even better than my fortifications, because I already have, just like he does, 3 swords. So it's a little bit of extra strength, and it's like I can make 2 cannons and have 1 defensive army, or I can make 2 cannons and a sword and have 2 of these I can make 2 cannons and have 1 fortifications, or I can make 2 and a sword and have 2 defensive armies. So I was really happy to see this. It's good for him, but it's also good for me. And he does go ahead and make the other sword, so he's 1 cannon away from having 2 of these tactics, but he doesn't have the rocks for it yet. But with the patriotism, now he does, and he also grabs some yellow cards for some rocks. I was curious that he took urban growth over the efficient upgrade, because there is coal coming, and that's what he wants, and I'm not going to take it. And the efficient upgrade, I think, would make more sense, because that's something he desperately needs to do. But maybe he didn't want the card row to go down fast, or maybe he just really wanted to build a building at some point. In any case, it's what he chooses, and it's over to me. So I'm not going to play any games. I'm not going to use my actions to hate draft the coal. Not going to do it, especially because people can win just on bronze mines. So I leave it alone. I don't play an event because I am concerned he went to pretty great lengths to get ahead of me, so maybe there is a strength-based event here that you saw here with Joan. I upgrade my last farm with efficient upgrade. I build my other cannon. I take gates, and I replace him right away. He's the first card into H3, and I'm like, you know what? F it, good enough. Good enough. There are 2 copies of computers. I have the action lead, so I can afford to pay 3 actions for it. Gates is immediately giving me 3 extra rocks. That's one of the ways to catch up. I've seen this happen many times. This is actually a problem I had for a while, is that I just really underestimated how much you can catch up on someone with culture. This type of elite lead, a 40-point lead where you're getting ahead a few points every turn, that can absolutely be surmounted with just a resource and action lead and just building a bunch of shit. And that's what I've got. I got a resource lead and I have a major action lead. So I figured if it came down to it, I could do this peacefully and beat him. Now, I don't know why the hell I spent 3 actions to take Wave of Nationalism. I don't really know. You could say, well, Boris, there's nothing else to take, and you have 5 actions. That's true. Can't research opera, tragically. But, I mean, gosh. I could take Organized Religion to fix my happy faces. I could take Rifleman just in case H3 tactics come out. I could take Efficient Upgrade because I'm going to be upgrading these babies to computers. I could just play my reserves for something. Hell, I could play it for food, make an extra worker. I got Bill Gates. I don't maybe need it to play it for rocks. I could take the Cavalryman to open up tactics. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I could do other than take a Wave of Nationalism that's pretty much impossible for me to use because if I switch tactics, I don't get that drop. So no matter which tactic I switch to, whether it's my fortifications or David's defensive army, the tactic already goes online. So I don't know what the hell this was. So anyway, I do that, and then I take the Rifleman and the Efficient Upgrade. I'm not getting a Happy Face solution, which I actually do need, and my Happy Faces are running out here. After David takes the team sports, I have no way to fix my Happy Faces, so I think that was just a moment of wild insanity. I put down my own fortifications because I might as well, it doesn't cost me anything, and then I pass the turn. Alright, so no wars other than this H2 war yet. David gets an Air Forces here, which I was very sad about. He takes the Organized Religion, researches it, upgrades it. So I get a little lucky. I think even though he had a temple, he should have taken the team sports to deny me the ability to fix my Happy Faces. Because now, with the team sports gone, the only thing left in the entire game I can fix my Happy Faces with is professional sports. There's no religion in H3. So I biffed it, not taking a Happy Face solution. But then David kind of blundered back, taking this one that was convenient for him, instead of maybe the one that was a little less convenient for him, but was absolutely crushing for me. So I think he underestimated the significance of, playing a 2-player game here, where card drafting is more important. He then takes the coal, which, okay, that's fair. It was hard for him to take coal and Air Forces. And then if he takes Team Sports, it's his whole turn drawing cards. That's why, actions are good, kids. But that does mean the Air Forces is here for me, so I could entertain some dreams of doing a war at some point. And I don't think it's wrong of him to do this, but I would have been tempted in his shoes just to try to ride this out on 3 bronze mines, because we're already in H3, and it's a bit of an ordeal to upgrade these. And then it takes a while for them to pay back their rocks. I think maybe at this point, it might have just been better for him to let it go and take the Air Forces and just try to make it work with yellow cards. Though he does have to fix his actions. He's in a tough spot, honestly. If we take a look at the situation, I think actually I favored him at the beginning of H2, but I favor me at the beginning of H3 because I got the rocks and I have the actions very crucially. I have almost twice as many actions as he does. So I can basically almost take 2 turns for every one of his. It's not exactly right, because, the card row depletes over your turn, so 2 back-to-back turns is actually quite a bit better than just 1 turn with double the actions. But I felt pretty confident that I could actually catch up on culture here with my rock production. And I don't think that he can easily dig his way out of that because he doesn't have the actions to play the bronze mind game. When you're doing that, it's because you're using all your actions to take yellow cards, and he just doesn't have that many to spare. So he's in a tough spot, but I mean, hey, I might screw it up. I might not be able to get the culture back somehow, so I think he's, doing the best he can. All right, so on my turn then, I played an event. We get Raiders popping out, so it does hit David. I've got computers, which obviously I got to take because I have Bill Gates. I researched them. I want to get those online as soon as possible. I get 2 of them upgraded. Obviously, I got to take the Air Forces. And after taking the urban growth, I obviously got to... Oh, what the hell? I didn't take team sports? I didn't take team sports! I don't know why I didn't take team sports. I don't know why. That doesn't make any sense. I'm about to run out of my happy faces here. I mean, yeah, I'm going to make some operas, but still, it's going to... I can't just make an opera for every single thing all game. Whoa, I really messed this up. I even forgot this. I did some prep work a day ago, and I forgot about this. That's crazy. I did not take team sports here. I should have definitely done that instead of taking these speculative cavalrymen. I now copy his defensive army, and with 1 more swordsman, which is harder because I don't have a happy face solution, I can actually get 2 of them online and maybe threaten him with a war along with my airplanes. I get Impact of Science, which is really, really good. That's 10 free points for me. He plays an event. It's the Cultural Influence, which gives him a few extra points of a lead. He drops down James Watt, researches the coal. Okay, it is cheaper for him to research it and upgrade the coal mines. I forgot about this. He upgrades 1, grabs the Democracy, which will be cheap for him, and he can do it next turn, and the Reserves. So he's about to fix his actions, and then he can maybe make this situation work. So on my turn, I do declare this war over territory. I get the Air Forces down, make 2 workers. Notice I have to blow up a mine, because I don't have happy faces. If I had the Organized Religion, for example, this Wave of Nationalism that cost me 3 actions is doing nothing. I could have had an Organized Religion with it. I could have researched it here and used the Urban Growth to upgrade it. So I could have absolutely turned this worker happy, and I would not have had to blow up a mine to finish my war. But I do get the Air Forces and a Swordsman, so I got 2 tactics and 1 airplane with it. And now I use the Urban Growth to upgrade my other lab, so I am fully maxed out on my rock production here. Grab the Patriotism for future wars, another Urban Growth, and I play the Reserves for food, because that's going to be more important than to get the workers out than it is to make more rocks, since I'm doing pretty good on rocks. Now, one problem here is that while I am going to fix my corruption issues by stealing some yellow tokens from David, what I'm not fixing is my culture. I'm not getting this opera down, and we're down to 19 cards, so time is kind of running out. He plays the Patriotism, makes a cannon, so he's got 2 of these tactics. He upgrades a mine, grabs Marlene and the Reserves, passes the turn here. So I'm going to steal quite a few yellow tokens from him and fix my happy face issues this way. I steal 3, so now I'm kind of okay. I play an event, the Impact of Science. We get the Wealthy Territory, which he's not willing to bid for, so I'm happy about that. I win it with just a single sword. And at this point, I grab the Civil Service. I was really thinking about the Manhattan Project, but the problem is I don't actually have a war over culture. And I'm in a little bit of trouble because I am about 50 culture behind here, and I haven't actually used my actions and rocks and whatever to catch up on it. So I was worried that if I did the Manhattan Project and then didn't get a war, then I was going to just lose the game. So I play the Civil Service, take it. Oh, sorry. I forgot what I did. Jesus Christ. So I do take the Manhattan Project. It's a little bit desperate. But my thinking perhaps was that, okay, I could build this for 15 points. It's not horrible. All the wonders are kind of in the back, but I could get a really big Empire State Building, a big Manhattan Project, and if I maybe do some armed interventions or get lucky and draw a war, then I can catch back up. But maybe I was wrong, because if I don't draw a war, it is a little bit tricky to see this paying off. On the other hand, I have so many rocks, I can basically almost make a wonder every turn, that I could just build multiple wonders and try to catch up that way. Anyways, I do get the opera, make a worker, and I build this opera, so now I'm finally not losing culture every turn, but I am 50 points behind, and the Manhattan Project plus a big Empire State kind of make up for it. They do sort of make up for it, plus don't forget the 9 Bill Gates points, so I'm kind of in it even if I don't get a war, but I have to admit I got pretty lucky here, and I drew a war over culture. So it is debatable whether I could have won this game without the war. It would have been close, but with the war, it's definitely not close. So I don't know, maybe it was okay for me to take the Manhattan Project. I mean, 15 points is nothing to sneeze at. I got time to build it and take another wonder and build that as well. So the points are relevant. If I get a war, then great. And if not, I'm still getting 15 points, and maybe that was just better than building a bunch of operas. Though, of course, 2 operas, 6 points a turn for, let's say, 3 turns. That's 18 points. Yeah, that's better than the Manhattan Project, though I do have the Armed Intervention, but it's not guaranteed to go through. He could have like 2 defense cards. Well, if I use the Himeji Castle. Gosh, I really forgot about all this. Apparently, I need to just prep my videos the day that I make them because I forgot about all these nuances. So yeah, maybe I am pretty likely, though not guaranteed, to be able to get the Armed Intervention through, which is like a mini war, plus the points from the Wonder. Yeah, maybe this is an okay line. All right, he raises population, builds a temple, gets the most useless Marlene down. There's no operas, and he has the full army, so he's not using her power at all. He's not getting any happy faces from her, doesn't need any happy faces from her. It's kind of just a hilarious situation all around. Grabs the build-up and plays reserves for rocks, and he passes the turn. Still not getting down the democracy very interestingly. He could have done it. He has the happy faces to spare, so I'm not sure why he didn't play this for the extra culture and the extra actions. Well, I declare the war over culture, and now I finished the Manhattan Project and still have enough resources left over thanks to just having a giant pile of resources and a patriotism to build another airplane. So I got 2 tactics and 2 airplanes for 66 strength with the Wonder. I grabbed some stuff. This is for a little bit of a raw strength boost and also to sacrifice with the Himeji Castle. I grabbed the reserves and the engineering genius. So my plan is that next turn I can take and build the Empire State Building. Now, I was a little worried that David was just going to give me a big FU and hate draft the Empire State Building. He plays an event, nothing happens. He grabs the Air Forces, builds them, gets the military buildup, blows up a mine, and blows up another lab, and then gets the 2 Air Forces. Note that Marlene cannot copy Air Forces, so he has to, again, have a completely useless Marlene that did literally nothing all game. Still doesn't do democracy, although now he is missing the happy face for it, so that would have actually been a problem. Maybe he foresaw that. And then he passes the turn. Although it is worth noting that he could have used the extra actions from democracy to just blow something up to stop the revolt. I blow up my military theory guy because 5 extra strength means you steal 5 extra culture. That's like an armed intervention basically. Almost. It's a lot of extra points. So and also the 3 extra points for using the castle. So that's actually 10 extra culture, 5 stolen plus 3 flat. And then I play the Impact of Agriculture. It doesn't really do that much, but I decided that blowing this up to make an armed intervention impossible was worth it, because if I keep this unit and I play the armed intervention, then I get not that many extra points. But if I blow it up, I get the points basically from the armed intervention, and I can still play the event. And the National Pride pops off, which is nice. I get 5 extra culture. So just like in Parsley's game, I'm behind on culture all game, and then I catch up on culture with a war right before the National Guard shoots out. And now I'm actually going to use all 11 of my actions here profitably on the last turn. I'm obviously going to take the Empire State Building, raise population, blow up a mine, build 2 operas, and then with the reserves and the engineering genius, I have just exactly enough rocks to make the Empire State Building for the full 35 points, the operas I needed in order to get ahead of David on culture. Though I guess I only needed 1, so had I had 2 fewer actions, I would have built 1 fewer opera. But as it is, we got to have a pretty epic turn of building a full Empire State Building, and also building 2 operas at the exact same time. And I don't worry about making this final warrior to get ahead on strength, because I figure even if he has impact of strength, it's just not going to matter at this point. So he takes the military theory, researches it, disbands a swordsman. Marlene is now being used officially for the first time this game. Makes another farm, and then disbands another swordsman. Okay, Marlene's not being used anymore. She was used. She actually did something temporarily in the middle of one turn this game. He plays the reserves, blows up another swordsman, and then makes a cannon out of it. So now she's being used again, and we finish the game. I actually don't know what that was. He has less strength now, maybe impact of competition it's a little better. I'm not actually sure. So we get the impact of colonies, only 2 colonies this game, and I had them both. We have the impact of science, which I put in, which is 10 extra points. And the food, which he actually caught up to me on with his final actions. And then his event was the impact of industry, which he beats me on hilariously, even though I was Mr. Rocks, because of course this only counts the mines, nothing else. And I beat him by 80 points. Now I stole 29 points from him in the War Over Culture, which is 58 points. So it looks like I had enough of a lead. thanks to my Operas and Empire State and building 2 wonders that I could have won. But that can be a bit deceptive because he did have to spend resources pushing against me in the war. He could have spent those resources otherwise. Maybe he could have felt safe enough to get democracy down, so it would have been a lot closer if I didn't have that war. And, we'll never know for sure if I had the war, would I have won or not. But I think I may have been able to win without the war, so maybe taking the civil service there and building the Manhattan Project was correct, even if I didn't get the war that turn. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like and or subscribe. I'm very, very sad that the World Championship has ended. If you want to stick around for some bonus stuff, we'll take a look at, the page, the tournament page, so you can see officially how it ended and, relive old times. But if you are heading out and you're feeling sad that Through the Ages that has ended, please note it is not ended. I have more tournaments in my future, just not the World Championship for a while. So maybe not soon, but soonish, we will be back with some more Through the Ages. Okay, now let's take a look at the tournament standings if you want to. All right, so here's how things ended. Parsley took the group with 28 points. He did fall apart a little bit at the 2-player games because he lost to me and to Rove. He did manage to beat David, though, so even if I had beaten Rove myself, I still would have lost. I would have tied him, but then he would have beaten me on tie breaks. So nothing I did nothing I did no matter what in the 2-player games would have let me win the group, just because he got that one victory against David. Worth noting that David did beat Rove, so we had a little bit of a ring around the rosy here, where Rove beat me, I beat Parsley, Parsley beat David, and David beat Rove. So we had a nice little merry-go-round there. This came down to that game right there where I got second place. That was the first place for Parsley. And if I had beaten him in that game, which maybe I had a teeny tiny window of being able to possibly be able to pull it off, if I had beaten him that game, then I would have actually taken this group. So it was there. I could have maybe done it. If Rove had won one of the 4-player games and Parsley had lost, which admittedly is a very large swing, I would have actually won as well. So it was close. I'm very proud and very happy with how this went. I can't wait for the World Championship starting up next fall. And in the meantime, we'll have some other tournament gameplay for you coming up soon. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and happy gaming.